So a little bit different today. I'm outside, out in the fresh air, and somebody asked me about my alpacas several times, so I thought I'd introduce you to them and also what I do with them in the yarn. And so I shall introduce you now to Jock, who's the black one, Jack, who's the bigger, older one there, and Jimmy and Johnny in the background, all Jays. And they really are after these nuts, of course, because they like to eat these, and it also helps their coat. Here we go, boys. So when we first bought this property, these paddocks were really hard to manage, and we had another farm, so we used to bring lambs down or we'd bring cattle down, but they were such a hassle getting them backwards and forwards in the trailer that somebody pointed me in the direction of alpacas. Now these guys, as you can see, keep these paddocks down really smoothly, and they're not quite so destructive as sheep, and they need shearing once a year. And once a year a man comes and shears them and does their toenails and gives them injections, and you can see that their coats are looking really good at the moment, and it's not going to take long before they look like little puffballs on legs. They're not really tame. I haven't tamed them that I can take them anywhere or carry them around anywhere or whatever, but they do know me and Roger. So they get shorn once a year. I used to get the fleece spun, and I knitted a few jumpers with that. But the cost of that happening and the cost of the shearing was really quite a lot. So now I sell the fleece, or I give the fleece away to spinners locally. And a lady spun some up for me, which I have been knitting into a jumper for Roger. So I shall now go and show you some of the knitting I've done from these guys. You'll find it's pretty much all brown because the black fleece is quite sought after, and so often people will buy that. These poor old other brownies aren't quite so valuable. And this old chap here must be the oldest, I think. He's getting quite grey around his face. They're about 16 or 17. They live till they're about 20, 21. And so now I'll take you through and show you what their fleece looks like all knitted up. So now here's some finished things. Well, not quite finished. This is a jumper that I was wearing the other day, and this was a yarn that I sent up to knitwear to get spun on a machine. It doesn't knit up really smoothly. It always seems to be a bit bobbly. I don't know why that is. I suppose if you mixed it with wool it might smoothen down a bit. And this is one that a local spinner spun for me, but she wasn't not a sort of a even spinner. But I've worked with it, and I've made a chunky sort of a pattern so that it works with the rough spun wool. So now I've brought this out, Roger's going to remind me to finish it, of course. But it'll be a nice warm jumper for him in the winter. And then, of course, I do small miniature knitting because I have to bring miniatures into this. And these are some of my knitted jumpers that I've made, but I use number 8 crochet cotton usually, or just normal cotton, sewing cotton. So those are a selection of my little jumpers, slippers, little things. This one wasn't quite, it fitted the doll. This one had broader shoulders. And these were a pattern from a knitting of a jumper that I used to do when I had a knitwear company years ago. We used to knit these pattern jumpers, so I did miniature ones of them. So there we go. So a totally different video today. Tomorrow I'll show you my finished Tudor beds and see how I'm getting on with my top floor of my Tudor house. And I laid in bed having a little panic attack this morning, thinking about how much work I've got to do on it before it's finished. And then I thought, no, One of my subscribers did say, I can't remember what she said, but she said something like a step at a time and you get there. She had a particular saying, I'll have to remember that. And I shall just go one step at a time and get that top floor finished.